Welcome back to Defining This Thing with Patrice and Ian. Or Ian and Patrice.
Yeah. Alright, go. Good.
We can't even get through a freaking introduction without this boy clowning. So, we left off telling you about like how we had gotten married. And so basically we just continued living with each other from there, living and working until my husband,
who shall remain nameless,
decided that he just, I don't know, he developed a strong sense of, these niggas not gonna tell me shit, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do. And he would just quit a job, and he would get really, 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 really good jobs.
Yeah, that was.
And he would just quit. He'd be like any little thing that would happen, if he felt like his manhood was under attack, or I don't know, it wasn't like he was like bullshitting at work, but you know how sometimes you got people that test your gangster at work. He'd just be like, it wasn't no suck it up, go to the bathroom, get your shit together, or text somebody and cuss and be like, yeah, let me tell you about these mother. He'd just be like, man, nigga, fuck you, I don't need this job.
When really I did. Yeah, I had a problem with that. But that's over now.
How many jobs? Let's talk about all the jobs that you had.
That's over now.
He worked for Ford. No.
I didn't work for Ford.
Not for Ford. You worked for Pepsi. You worked for Coke. You worked for the people who make the food for Popeye's Chicken. That was a really good job.
Yeah.
Hooters.
Hooters was cool. I like Hooters.
He was a dental assistant. What else kind of work did you do? He worked in the hospitality industry. He was working as a what you did at the hotels?
I did everything.
He worked in the hotels. He worked for the airlines. He worked for
I think I worked damn near everywhere.
Oh,
I know something about everything. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing at all.
Assembly line work, like literally everything.
Yeah.
And we'd have rent to pay. And the thing was like, he would never be without a job long. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month max. However, one job might have been paying $15, $18 an hour. And the next job be paying like $650. Temp jobs, permanent jobs. It was a whole hot ass mess. So, and then y'all know we wasn't good with our money anyway.
Already.
So, like our finances was jacked up for real. So what we did was, we never got evicted from anywhere. We would always move first.
I don't know if that's a good thing either, though.
We never had an eviction on our, when you apply for an apartment, they run your stuff through their little database. We never had an eviction. We would always move first. So we moved, we left, we was living out in Mizzou. We moved out of that one. We were still working at
the airport.
We were still working at the airport.
Yeah.
And then when I left the airport, I started working for NOPD. I was a 911 operator. I started working for NOPD, where we were living on Delachey. We had moved uptown. Because I was staying on Delachey. Because I remember I used to put my shirt on, put a jacket on, because I didn't want nobody to see me with them there. Because even though I was just a 911 operator, we wore like same color,
like a police
same color uniforms. We had the NOPD and like the city police department like patches and stuff on our shoulders. So it looked and I was like, oh hell no.
Walk down the street looking like a snitch.
So I used to put, I used to always have a jacket or something to put over my shirt or take off my shirt because we was on a bus. Oh, because we had the cars had gotten repo. Yeah. So I remember, I think we was living on Delachey, and then something happened, and we ended up back by my mama. It wasn't even for a long time. But I
think we were supposed to be like, we gonna stay here, stack some bread, and then get a crib. But that ain't happen like that. Cause
you think you quit another job?
Did I?
I think so.
Probably. Yeah.
He would quit the job. Dude, he would quit jobs so damn much. Like, you know how you be like, you feel like you want to quit, but you just be like, I can't stand this place. You gonna take you an extra long lunch or something. You come back and be like, whatever. And he leave for lunch and I just not go back. It was just like, you just quit. You can't just quit. So we ended up having
quit all of them. Some of them I got fired.
For doing what?
Huh?
For doing what?
What you mean?
Why did you get fired?
Different reasons.
So we ended up like in a series of houses, like back by my mama for a few months, then next door to my mama because there was a little cheap house that had came up for rent. Then we was like, I think on Delashay uptown, and then I had left NOPD to go work at a call center, the Sears call center in Mishu. Remember that? So I'm at Mishu. I'm working in Mishu at the call center, and I had this team manager. My team manager, for whatever reason, me and her were like oil and water, and so I don't have good customer service skills because I'm like, you ain't gonna sit here and just be bitching in my ear about nothing, right? You didn't pay your bill or whatever. So for some reason, me and the team manager, we didn't jive well at all. So I ended up. I had hung up on somebody, and I was like, I think I told the lady, oh, hold on one moment, ma'am. And instead of putting on hold, I hung up the call. So
when them calls get disconnected when y'all on customer service, that ain't no mistake. Call back. That is not a mistake.
So I don't know if the lady called back or if that was like one of the random times that the team manager was monitoring, because you have to monitor the calls for quality assurance. Well, I ended up getting fired. So now I don't
losing a job. Who does that?
I got fired. He probably had quit, but whatever. So we ended up. I ended up getting like this little job at Lord and Taylor's, like working retail. Hated it, and I think like I had applied for like the food stamp office. So got to the food stamp office. We ended up getting an apartment across the river. Mm-hmm. So now I think I was working. I think you were in school for something, maybe a dental assistant.
I think that's when I was at Pepsi. So I used to go there and then go straight to primary.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so he was working and in school at the same time.
Working and in school, what the hell?
And so I was like, so I had started working at the food stamp office across the river, but we were still living downtown, still living across the canal by my mama. Like next door to my mama, because I remember catching the bus over there. And I used to get in trouble all the time for showing up to work late. And I used to be like, look, miss, they got 2 bridges and a train between me and you. I can't help it. There's only so much that I can do. Because like when the bridge go up, the bridge just the hell go up. When the train passed, the train just passed. The buses, and I was on a bus too. So between the bus, the train, the bridge, I was like, look, I'm gonna just be late sometimes. You're just gonna have to work with me. Turns out the lady ended up like one day, I don't know how, I think either I had a picture of my mama or something, and she saw the picture and she was like, oh my God, that's my cousin. And after that, I didn't have any more issues about her, like with her fussing at me about being late. But ended up like he was working and going to school. I was in school because I was going to Delgado across the river. So I was going to school and I was working at the food stamp office. So like, he had finally kind of gotten himself like in a solidified position. And I want to say that we were doing well, had the little apartment probably for about a year. And then in that time frame, we had filed bankruptcy because I had jacked up my credit so bad. So bad. So we had filed bankruptcy, got rid of all the debt, but I think our credit scores went like 300s. So we have like these 300 credit scores, and we just like basically doing cash for everything. And so he was working and going to school. I was working and going to school. We had filed the bankruptcy. We worked real close. Like I could walk to work from where we were staying. And so like maybe about a year and a half after, after we had filed bankruptcy and stuff, credit score had came up enough, and certain things had fallen off. I was like, well, let me see if we could qualify to get a house, because this other girl who I knew who had filed bankruptcy had just gotten approved for a house. I'm like, we work together. If she filed bankruptcy and she can get a house around, after this period of time, that I know that I should be able to do it too. So ended up getting, applying for a home loan. We started looking around, because we were first time home buyers. We got qualified for a bunch of, credits and, but we just really didn't know what we were doing. So we had found this house. I guess this is probably perfect timing, because this is leading up into like the Katrina story. What are we, 11 minutes? Can we do the full Katrina story in 15?
No.
That's got to be its own separate video, so we're going to leave off on that one. All right. So we end up finding this house, buying this house, and we didn't realize it was we knew when we signed the papers that it was an adjustable rate mortgage, but I don't think that I truly understood what an adjustable rate mortgage was.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And so we might have, that was just a terrible decision for like somebody who was still, because we still didn't know how to manage our money. And the thing is,
they probably do that for all them first time. Like, that's how you qualify so easy.
Well, this was 2005. Mm-hmm. So I don't know like what the practices were, but I was like, so we done went through this home buying process or whatever, and came up with the closing costs. And I remember it was like we closed on a Wednesday. Mm-hmm. We closed on a Wednesday. I had work and school that day. We did the closing. Ian had work and school that day. I'm trying to think of how it went. I remember we closed, and then like the very next, did we start moving?
No, we had, I think we moved everything in the next day.
Like a Thursday.
Yeah.
But we still had work and school the rest of the week. So it wasn't until Saturday that we were like, oh, finally, sitting down, like unpacking, moving stuff in, like trying to settle into the house.
Like, we didn't even have a gas on.
Like, nothing. Only thing that was on was like the lights.
Mm-hmm. They had to come back out and inspect for the gas.
Yeah, so the lights was on, water was on. We had probably slept in the house like
2 or 3 days.
2 or 3 nights. And then sitting down that Saturday, nobody had to go to work, nobody had school, and we sitting down and we turn on the TV, and it's like, there's a storm in the Gulf of Mexico. And we're like, oh. I called up everybody, was like, y'all staying home, y'all riding it out? Yeah, we gonna ride it out. Okay, if y'all ride it out, we gonna ride it out, because we was broke, we had no money. We had just finished paying the move, packing, moving from one place to the other place and trying to get settled. Plus, we just didn't have no money because we was still broke AF. And then I think Sunday morning I got scared. And I said,
why did you get scared though?
I don't know. I think I just was watching the news, and then I called my mom and them, who said that they wasn't going to leave. And when I called them,
she was on the road.
They was on the road headed to Texas.
Like, you motherfucker.
And they ain't nobody called me. They was like, no, we didn't go. And we had a car, but the car that we had wasn't no car that you can go idle on the highway for 17 hours, because that's about how long it was taking people to get out the city. And so I got scared, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just go to the Superdome. It'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be in there. The storm supposed to pass over on Sunday night. We'll be in there, and then we'll be back home by Monday morning. Famous last words. So we'll tell our next video will be the Katrina story, because that's gonna take.
That's a whole video.
That's a whole separate thing on its own. But how do you, like, as far as like relationships go, how in your relationships, how have you dealt with like joblessness? Like, whether it was your part, like your fault that you left the job, like I quit, or if you were fired, doesn't matter, because you still don't have a paycheck, right? Especially if you haven't had savings. It don't matter. Yeah. I think it's just like, emotionally you feel an extra kind of way when it's like your ass quit that job and you ain't had to. But when you think about like finances and quitting jobs and stuff, or getting fired, whether it's your fault or not, that sudden loss of income, if you don't have money in the bank, you feel that shit on payday Friday.
Yeah.
That is the immediate, you feel it immediately.
And don't let you be behind already.
Oh, right. If you're already behind, you just kind of, you SOL. Or if you owe somebody or whatever the case may be. My hair is like irritating the crap out of me.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all. So, I'm like, I know that we struggled with that for a while. And there was definitely some resentment on my side, on my behalf, because I used to be like, you just quit a job. Like, we have bills, we got car notes, we have to eat, we have to get to work, and you just like I ain't gonna let nobody talk to me that kind of way. And it was a lot of times it was just all ego with you.
It was. I that's something I had to deal with. I had to grow up.
You know what? We both have done a lot of growing. Like, we pretty much raised each other. Like, we grew up together.
We did.
We've made like terrible
horrible
kid mistakes because we
didn't have
know.
Nobody to look up to though.
Right.
Who was he gonna look up to?
Well,
all our single ass people.
But still. But we just didn't have really good like mentors and life coaches.
Financially, nobody.
Financially on either side, I think it was
nobody
a
look up
fail.
To.
I feel confident in saying it. Like, on either side, I felt like my whole family, I feel like even the ones who own houses and own property, they weren't sharing like their processes on how they got the land or how they bought the house or what all went into it. I never really like had those conversations. And even if like somebody lost a job, then it was like they need to hit the pavement immediately to find something else for work. Like, I can't ever recall a moment where people in my family were out of work for whatever reason and they weren't like aggressively job hunting.
Right. Because
they needed to, or
because you had no backup.
Right. Or they were like moving in with a family member until they found something, and then, kind of going from there.
So we had nothing.
Yeah, so we didn't have like very good role models.
No booklet, no pamphlet.
I hate the way you say that.
No pamphlet?
No, yeah. Pamphlet.
I purposely have to make myself say that now just because you don't like it.
I don't like it.
Pamphlet.
So we should also talk about shit your spouse does to intentionally annoy you.
Whatever.
Talk about it.
I never do nothing like that.
Boy, you full of shit.
I love you, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, girl. You had 20 minutes.
How? We were just at 11. Okay, so if you have any questions, any comments, any horror stories about losing a job or quitting a job and your spouse or whatever not being on board with it, leave it in the comment section below. And then I guess next week we're talking about our Katrina story. And then probably immediately following that, we'll talk about infidelities.
I thought you were going to do the annoying shit.
Man, that come out in all the videos.
We need like 8 videos to do the annoying stuff that you do. All hour long. 8 hour long videos.
See when I fuck your ribs up? Thanks so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. And we will catch you all next week with our next video topic. And it'll be pretty much our Katrina story.
Katrina.
That bitch.
That bitch.